everyone, welcome back to Light Up Literature. Today we are talking about one of the most important reading skills students develop in middle school, text evidence. If you've ever asked students to support their answer with evidence and gotten blank stares, guesses, or random copied sentences from a passage, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to show you why students struggle with text evidence, a simple strategy that helps students prove their thinking, what students should be able to do in 6th through 8th grade. It is different for each grade level, and how to support your learners who need special structure or extra structure, especially students with ADHD. And if you stay till the end of the video, I have a small little thank you for all the teachers and homeschool parents watching today. All right, let's jump in. So, why text evidence feels so hard? One of the biggest challenges teachers and parents see in students guessing instead of proving their answers. Many students genuinely don't know where to look in the text for evidence. So we need to model that. Even when they find a sentence, they often struggle to explain why that detail actually matters. And for students with ADHD, long reading passages can already feel overwhelming before they even start searching for a device. So let's gamify that. So the real issue isn't effort. The problem is that students probably haven't been taught or may need a reminder on a clear process for finding and explaining evidence. Once a student learns the structure, this makes everything much easier. So let's get into it. What text evidence actually is. Before we teach strategy, students need to understand what exactly text evidence means. So text evidence is simply proof from the text that supports an idea or answer. As parents and teachers, we know that, but we have to show that to our kiddos so that they can get it. So first, students identify a detail from the passage. Second, they connect the detail to the idea. And then third, explain how the detail proves their thinking. So, for example, a weak answer might be the character is brave, but a stronger answer is the character is brave because she enters a cave alone to rescue her brother. Now, the student is using specific details from the text to support their idea, and that's exactly what we want. And once they get it, your life is easier, and so is theirs. So there are a few common reasons students struggle with text evidence. Many students try to answer the question out of memory instead of returning to the text. This is common with gifted students, struggling readers. It's all across the board. So that's one. Number two, they highlight sentences that sound important but don't actually understand them. So they're not making that full connection. Number three, students sometimes confuse their opinions with evidence from the text. So sometimes we definitely need to do a little backup reminder, fact versus opinion. And four, many students simply don't know how to explain their thinking after they find the details. And without a clear structure, students start guessing instead of analyzing. Now, there's a simple strategy that we use that is super easy. Here we go. Step one, answer the question. Step two, find evidence in the passage. And step three, explain how the evidence proves the answer. It's a simple 3-step method. For example, the central idea of this article is blank because the text explains blank. This structure helps students slow down and think about how the evidence supports the ideas. Once students get comfortable with this pattern, their answers become much stronger, and they're actually making those bridges and providing that simple sentence stem really helps them. Eventually, they won't need it and they won't use it. But in the beginning, it's a great way to build that foundation. Now, there are different grade level expectations for each grade level. So, for example, in sixth grade, students learn how to locate evidence directly in the passage. But once we hit seventh grade, students begin comparing details and identifying the best evidence. So that takes more time, and it takes a slowdown process when you're thinking and trying to. So rushing through things can really throw you off. Now, by eighth grade, students are expected to explain how evidence supports deeper meaning, like theme or central idea. So the progression looks very similar to find the evidence, evaluate the evidence, and explain the evidence. As a teacher, if we teach those, whether you're in the classroom or the kitchen table, if we teach those steps, we're building them for success. It doesn't matter what grade level, even if they're in eighth grade and they're still not getting it, go back to that sixth grade level. Let's nail down finding the evidence and then evaluating it. Scaffold it up, build them up, and take the win. All right. Now, when we have our ADHD kiddos or neurodivergent kiddos, they benefit from a little more structure when working with the text. So break down the passages into smaller sections, subheadings, chunking it up. Another great way to help them is have them preview the questions before reading. So that way students know what they need to be on the hunt for. Also, highlighting and annotating while reading can help students actively engage with the text. However, sometimes it does mean that they're going to highlight the entire text, except for a couple of these and ands. So we have to work on that part too. And then the best way to do that is discussion before writing responses, so students can help organize their thoughts and provide those sentence stems or sentence starters so that it helps them build what they're wanting to say. Remember, a quiet classroom or quiet homeschool classroom or homeschool pod doesn't mean that that's the best learning. Yes, we need quiet sometimes, but I highly encourage discussing ideas, especially before writing. Writing can be very intimidating anyways. And so when we're talking about text evidence and how it supports, you can actually make that a challenge. Works. And these strategies, even though I do definitely highlight them for ADHD kiddos, they work for all kiddos. So, all right, let's take a look at some of our common mistakes that happen. So even strong readers sometimes make common mistakes when working with text. Students may copy sentences without explaining them, choose details that don't actually support the answer. Some students just guess instead of searching for the passage because they don't want to go back and reread it or relook at it. And another common one is writing opinions instead of evidence. So sometimes that's why we have to do a little mini teach on what fact versus opinion. So one of the helpful things as parents and teachers that we can do is always ask, what detail proves my answer? When students know that that's the key, it really helps them move forward and be successful. All right. Teaching text evidence successfully, there are several teaching strategies that can make text evidence much easier for our kiddos. One of the most effective is modeling how to find evidence while reading. Modeling helps them, and they don't feel scared or afraid to make mistakes when we model it for them. Teachers and parents can also think aloud and show students how to locate supporting details. Highlighting evidence before answering questions helps students understand the process, and encouraging the discussion. Again, so helpful. One with ADHD kiddos, second language learners, things like that. But also, it's just great for all levels of kiddos. That's a great way for them to learn, collaborate, especially in the middle school setting. And add our sentence structures, our sentence stems. That is gold all the way around. All right. Now, what students need to succeed is a little different than what we sometimes think. Students become much more confident readers when they understand how the evidence works. They succeed when they know how to find the evidence, choose the strongest supporting detail, and explain how those details prove that they're right. Students love to tell you, especially in middle school, that they are right and why they're right. So use it to your advantage to say, prove it to me. When students understand the process, they stop guessing and they actually get a little more engaged because they're like, yeah, I'm going to prove you wrong. And sometimes that's the motivation and encouragement that they need. And that's okay. All right. Now, if you are in need of resources, we've definitely got you covered there. A middle school reading strategies and resources. You can explore material at lightUpLiterature.com. We've got practice sets. We've got the test preps. So it's really whatever you're needing with your kiddos at that time. All right. Now, the promise that I gave you before you go, I wanted to say thank you for watching till the end. And so thank you, teachers and homeschool parents. And if you would like to try any of the reading comprehension resources on the Light Up Literature website, you can use Evidence 25 for a 25% off. I'll also place the link in the description of the video so it's easy to find. Thank you so much for watching. And if this video helped you think about new ways to teach text evidence, please share it with another teacher or a homeschool parent who might find it useful. And I'll see you in the next video.